Hey punks, Chaotic here.
You got figured here in the producer chair?
Welcome to Beyond the Pit, the show where we talk about music, life, and mental health issues directly with artists, experts, and survivors. Joining us for today's edition of Beyond the Pit, we got Mike McGrady from Embering Effigy. Figured, give him the rundown.
Hey punks, just a reminder, you can find all this and all of our Beyond the Pit interviews on the official RockMental YouTube channel. Also, you can find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Also, be sure to follow at RockMental Official on pretty much all over the social media platforms to get notified when the latest Beyond the Pit episode drops. Chaotic?
All right, let's get to it. Embering Effigy is a thrash slash groove metal band from Conyers, Georgia. They have a raw and heavy sound that, to me, is an awesome mix of pretty much all subgenres of metal. They've been gigging around the South and have opened up for a lot of bands, including our friends at Kamikaze Zombie. Embering Effigy's bassist and backup vocalist is Mike McGrady, also known as Bic Mac, who has joined us for a couple of episodes of RockMental. He reached out to us to tell us about his mental health story and really opened up with his own battles of depression, anxiety, ADHD, and some others. He brings a really awesome perspective, not just on the music, but on the entire mental health discussion. I am so stoked to welcome Bic Mac to Beyond the Pit. Hey, Mike. First, I just want to thank you so much for being here with us, dude. This is so cool, so rad.
Oh, no, thank y'all for having me.
Cool, man. I mean, I got to say, you guys were one of the first bands to actually reach out to us and, to share your music and to share your links, man. So thanks for that. And I got to tell you, when I opened that Spotify link, I was just like, holy shit. Like, first I hear Tiptoe and the Tulips, and I'm like, what's going on? And then, Scar and Rot comes on, and I'm just like, shit, why haven't I heard of these guys? So thank you for sending that. We're that is like the coolest part of our job to hear new bands that we wouldn't hear otherwise. So thanks for doing that.
No, dude, thank y'all for playing us and, even giving us the time of day. I didn't even know that nobody had really sent anything. I just saw my buddy Clint was on with y'all, and I was like, well, hell, let me send some stuff. Worst they can tell me is to go fuck myself.
Awesome.
No, we're telling you, it's fucking awesome. Like, you mentioned getting together with Jeremy and starting the band. Kind of talk through, like, how did you guys form? How did you guys start playing? And, how did the name Embering Effigy come about?
So before I had met Jeremy, I'm in this international heavy metal club called the Georgia Metal Alliance, which that's the shirt. And I had gotten a friend request from someone totally out of the blue, and I was like, I don't know who you are, and I don't typically answer random friend requests. But I saw he was local to where I was, and he had a lot of mutual friends in the GMA, and I was like, probably trying to join, so I'll go ahead and accept it. And we didn't really talk to each other yet. One of our mutual friends out in Las Vegas was like, hey, do you know who this dude is? I was like, no, but I'll message him and find out. And he was like, yeah, dude, I'm just trying to join the GMA. And we just got to talking. He told me he was big into thrash, and I was like, well, I got Slayer carved on my arm, homies. So like, we're going to be besties. And he mentioned that he's starting up this thrash project, and he needed, he's looking for a bassist. So if I knew anyone, to let him know. And I had just recently picked bass back up. And I was like, well, I can play. I can't tell you I'm good, but I can try. Worst comes to worst, you find someone different. And so we ended up, I went to I think it was one of the first practices, first 2 or 3. It was, at the time, it was called Variax, like variable AC. Jeremy was an electrician, so he was like, this would be awesome. We didn't have a drummer yet. It was Jeremy, Corey, the other guitarist. Jeremy was just doing vocals. And then we had one guitarist named Adam. And this dude was like 1980s James Hetfield incarnate. He had the Creeping Death tattooed on his arm. He had the white snake bite. Like, it was one of those, like, you're really good. Then he just kind of Like he came to one, he was at 2 practices with them, but one with me, and he just like fell off the face of the earth. And so, but never heard anything from him again. I was like, this is just a mass hallucination. He wasn't real. We were just all tripping. After that, we were oh, well, what do we do now? We don't have a drummer. We got 2 guitarists and a vocalist and a bassist. But in that time frame, we're trying to figure out what we're going to do, try and find a drummer. But yeah, once we did all that, and that's a tangent for another day. Ended up getting his drummer James, and he was good. He's really huge in Metallica. Like his battle jacket is like nothing but Metallica patches. And great drummer. It's his style of drumming really didn't fit too well. He ended up having to dip out after a few shows because he had a slip disc in his neck after getting kicked in the head at a Metallica show from Crowd Surfer.
Hey.
And then about that same time, we told Corey, like, homie, you're too smart. Like, don't waste your time, your money, and your effort on it. Like, go do something and make money.
Yeah.
Last I heard, he was in Brazil for some Brazilian jiu-jitsu tournament.
Oh shoot!
Oh jeez.
Like, dude was very intelligent. I'll say that.
Just taking off everything on the bucket list.
Yeah, he wanted to go climb Everest, and I was like, more power to you, man. If you can do that, I won't like talk shit. Go do it.
Yeah, right.
But after that, Jeremy and I were just kind of like, what do we do now? Like, we don't want to stop this. This is too good to let it die out. And we happen to know a drummer, our buddy Raph, who's also in the Georgia Metal Alliance with us. And we're like, hey, we know you kind of stopped drumming for a while. You want to come play with us? And he had stopped because his last band, the guitarist, had unfortunately passed away, and he took that one really hard. And he'd sworn off drumming, and we'd hit him up, and he was like, he was in the middle of texting, "Nah, I'm not gonna do this anymore." And he said he happened to look up at I think he said he was at Hooters or something. And he looks up at the TV and looks back down, and he's already sent, "What time is practice?"
Oh,
And it to that day. Every time something like that happens, we're like, Mike is with us, his old guitarist, Mike Tombstone. We're like, Mike's here. Like, there too many weird things happen at our practice space, which is where they had their practice, to be like, Mike's here. He's always here with us. So whenever we get a chance, to kind of shout him out, we always do. After he joined, man, like, we've gotten tighter as a group. Raph is very much hey, that was kind of sloppy. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Let's do it again. Like, I can't tell you how many parts. Just one song, I played the same part, the same 30 seconds over and over and over and over until we've got it just dead on.
yeah.
He's heavied us up. He's made us better musicians. Like, I love that dude.
It's very much needed, I think, in every band. He's that one guy that just pushes everyone, like the quarterback. Make everyone better. How do we make this better? And so that's cool, man. Yeah, and I feel you, dude. I had a best friend of mine pass away really young, and so I definitely feel you on that, because yeah, there's some times where, like, he was a big jokester. Something funny or crazy or just unexplained happens, I'm like, Zach, God damn it. Like, not now. When it's very inappropriate or awkward, that's usually it. So I totally get you on that, man. It's very, very important to honor the guys who moved on and still affecting you that way.
Oh yeah. Mike, so the old band was called Tombstone that Raph was in, and Raph, if you ever meet Raph, he has the thickest Southern accent of any Honduran I've ever met. And I mean that to, like, it's one of those that you go, are you sure you're Honduran? Like, that, what's coming out of your mouth does not, like, this don't equate, man.
Yeah.
But he's just about, he'll be 60 this month. he's 60% deaf. He's a cancer survivor. Like, just it's like, okay, man, what else you got? Like, you're just he's a local legend in the Atlanta scene. There's a lot of people once we got Raph on with us, and we were blessed to even him to even come and like deal with our bullshit. You know, every person that he had played bands with since the 80s was like, you got Raph playing again? Keep it up.
Nice.
So a lot of the older, the older bands that have been around for a long time, like Prime Mover, Dayglow Morning, they were like, some of them were like, y'all are killing it, and I'm just glad to see Raph behind the kid again.
Yeah. Awesome, dude. Yeah, no, it's so cool how you guys are blending, the different sounds, but also like the generational stuff. Because I mean, like when I found out you guys were a trio, I was just like, no shit. Like, you guys sound so fucking clean, so full. I mean, I thought there was 5 guys in there, and I'm just like, damn. Like, I mean, it just comes out so powerful, dude. So like, that was one thing. The other thing that caught my eye, and I kind of want you to explain, what does Southern Fried Thrash mean?
First, thank you for thinking that we're a lot bigger than we are. And I will attribute that to where we go record is Lead Belly Sound Studio in Dawsonville. Matt Washburn, he did the first 2, I think, albums from Mastodon. He's done stuff for Seven Dust. Like any local Atlanta band that wants to sound good goes to him. So first off, thank you, Matt, for making us sound good and putting up with our bullshit. Because we barely know what we're doing. So Southern Fried Thrash, I was like, it was something just kind of, I don't want to say gimmick, but something to be a little different. And we're like, we're not super thrash. We're not 1980s Bay Area thrash.
Yeah.
We're not really groove metal, but we have influences of thrash, groove, sludge, death metal, black metal, because Raph was in a death and black metal band. So we just have this big melting pot of everything we are. And it's like, that's kind of what the South is. It's sometimes a little fast, sometimes a little slow. A lot of, there's death everywhere. So Southern Fried Thrash is just a term I came up with to make it stand out a little. And just, it helps encompass all those different influences that we have.
Cool. I mean, speaking of influences, man, I think you talked a lot about the different sort of genres. Like, who would you say? I mean, I know you get Slayer tatted on your arm. Like, who else? Like, what are some of your guys' influences musically and also like, maybe lyrically?
So for Jeremy, his big 3 are Metallica, Exodus, and Pantera.
Oh, hell yeah.
But he used to be a country singer. So he's got a lot of blues, old school rock and roll, a lot of country. What was it? There's another one. A lot of outlaw country. We actually do a cover of, every now and again, we need to go back to play it, but we do a cover of Folsom Prison Blues, and we just speed it up.
Nice.
We actually played at Talladega, the raceway, for a buddy of ours that was camping out there and did Freebird and tried to speed it up as fast as fucking possible.
Oh, nice.
And that I think there's probably video of me just looking over like, dude, you just 16 more bars. You're good. You good. And Jeremy's just dying because it was hot as all shit.
Man.
But for myself, I love Slayer, Pantera, Acid Bath, before they got got popular. Crowbar, I actually got to meet Kirk a long time ago.
Nice.
And I actually had the only band shirt I had for a long time was a Crowbar one, because it's the only 5X that I could find at a show, and he just was like, "Here, take it, last one."
Nice.
I'm not going to offer you money. You just gave it to me.
Right.
And then Raph he loves Cannibal Corpse. He loves Maiden and X Order, which is kind of funny since Jeremy and I are like Pantera, and he's like, X Order was the first. Fuck you. So, he's right.
Yeah.
But just those kind of things for me, when I write things, it's So I work in the funeral industry. I'm a cemetery property steward, but gravedigger sounds so much cooler.
Yeah, way
Totally
cooler.
cooler. Yeah.
So like I've been a part of a lot of services that are very sad. Some of them are happier than you would think for a
Mhm.
funeral, but it really comes down to that celebration of life.
Yeah.
I've been I haven't had a very sheltered life. I've gone through a lot of shit throughout my 34, almost 35 years on this planet. So I've got a lot I can
Mhm.
write from. Jeremy, he was or is a army vet. I think he spent 12 years or so in the army.
Damn.
So he's got, he's got stories from that. He's a lot of times he'll just start thinking of something and then just a song will pop in his head and he's like, fuck, I gotta write this down. And then we come up with something really cool.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you shared your story with us. Both in writing and also you sent us a video. Man, like that some of the stuff that you brought up was very raw, very I think relatable to a lot of people. Um, and mental health is a huge component of what we do here at RockMental. So like, when you sent that video and we listened to your story and listened to everything, we're just like, man, this dude gets it. Like, you can tell like the lyrics and the themes and the stuff you guys put in your music comes from somewhere. Um, talk about that. Like where did some of those things come from? And like, where do you think, your music plays a role in bringing awareness to some of these things?
How we do our songwriting is we have lyrics first, and then we'll be like, all right, well, what kind of vibe do we want for this?
Yeah.
And then one of us will bring a riff. Like I don't just play bass, I play guitar too. So at home, I'll just start playing, just start messing around and be like, I like that. Let me record this and I'll send it over. Like, hey, what do you think of this riff? Can you build off of it? And then a lot of times Jeremy will come in with a riff. Hey, this is what I've been working on, and then we'll just throw something
Nice.
together.
Cool.
That's cool.
And how we typically will do it is we'll have Jeremy and I will write the guitar and bass part, and then record it and be like, Raph, this is what we're doing. While you're driving your truck for however many hours a day, he'll come up with something. Like he'll just listen to the same recording all day while he's at work. He drives for a living, so it's like he's got nothing to do but listen to music.
Yeah.
And so he'll come in, to practice, like, this is what I got for it, and then we'll why don't you try this? And he'll do the same with us. He'll be like, well, that sounds cool, but what if you do it this way?
Mhm.
Well, that didn't work. What if you do it this way, but then do this? And then it's like, oh, but that sounds fucking sick. Just another thing that Raph has just made us fucking better musicians. Like we
That's
come up, well, neither one of Jeremy and I aren't drummers, so we don't really know a lot of the lingo for it. It's like, well, why don't you try doing this? And something that he's a drummer, he probably would think that's stupid, but then he tries it. It's like, well, that fits. Okay, let's go with that.
Yeah. Cool, man. It's interesting because I think a lot of times, especially the bands we've talked to, a lot of times the song starts with a riff,
yeah.
and then you build off the riff, and then you build the song, and then, oh, you know what? I got lyrics for that. Hold on, let me look at my notebook real quick. So it's kind of cool to hear you guys do it the other way.
Yeah, kind of, yeah. Because Jeremy, like I said, a lot of times will have just a song pop in his head, and he'll just write it down, and then he'll send me the lyrics. I'm like, that's pretty cool. You could probably change this, or no reason to have this whole thing spelled out. You can, you don't have to say it is. You can just do it's.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But a lot of times, like what he'll send, it's like, you don't really need to change nothing because he knows how his cadence is, how he likes to sing it.
Mhm.
So a lot of times the things I'll send him, it's like, all right, change it how you need it to be able to sing it.
Yeah.
Because he has a different style he does.
Yeah.
And once we have that, like I think he has 14 other songs, just lyrics for. I've got about 4 or 5, and it's like, okay, well, this is the riff I just came up with. Well, hey, that might fit with this one of these 30 some odd songs I've gotten written. A lot of times it works out, and then sometimes it's like, well, let's put that one on the back burner. We'll find something for that one.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's so cool.
So as far as the music, we try to keep it a little bit vague so people can have their own interpretation.
Yeah.
Like Vortex is, yeah, it's spiraling down into hell, but like what kind of hell is it? Is it you're spiraling down into a terrible relationship? You're taking that spiral on drug addiction, depression, whatever it is. It's whatever your hell is at that moment. That's what Vortex is. Scarlet Rot was just a good zombie, like a really good zombie song, and it's like, this is too sick to not do.
Yeah.
And then Rougarou, Jeremy likes to say I grew up in South Louisiana. I did not. I have family that's from there, and I've spent some time there, but my grandmother had told me stories when I was young about the Rougarou, which is the Cajun wolf man. And there's a lot of different ways you can become a Rougarou. It's not just getting bit. You know, if you break your promise during Lent, you could be a Rougarou. But it's also how the lyrics are. You know, it's that, you know, what's watching you from the edge of the forest or the edge of your mind or whatever it is. Like y'all actually said something like that on when y'all were talking about it, and I was like, yeah, that's about right.
Yeah.
And then Empty Promises was, it's more about the big prosperity churches like Joel Osteen, Kenneth Copeland.
Yeah.
And that's if you look at the album cover, I think it's got Kenneth Copeland on it.
Yeah.
And it was like, we got to do this because, you know, we're both Christians, but when we see that, it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're bullshitting.
Yeah.
So it's the Empty Promises.
Yeah.
But you can still look at that song and be like, you know, failed relationships, failed, you know, telling yourself I'm gonna get over this, but you know, you don't. You know, that was your empty promise. I'm not gonna do this again. I promise, but you end
Yeah.
up doing it again. We have a few other ones, but a lot of we have a couple typical thrash songs. You know, fuck the government and all, which is, you know, is always a good part of the show. When we get to tell people, really, you're not going to boo the government? This is bullshit, man.
Yeah.
And then we have one that I can't wait to record and release. It is a very odd one. It's called Mr. Mayhem.
Ooh.
And it is our most, I wouldn't say it's super progressive, but I'm not real sure what to say about it. It's got a really odd structure because it'll go from really, really fast to start slowing down, and it's not necessarily halftime.
Yeah.
But it's slow, and then it'll kick back up into high gear, and then just do that kind of wave to it. It's a weird one.
That's cool. I mean, hey, if you're ready to, you know, when you guys are ready to release that bad boy, you know, you can. I'm more than happy to do that here at RockMental. Like, that'll be so cool.
I think we're going to record at the end of June. We're going to go record 4 songs, and then we have 2 more that we have to record, but we need to get those nice and tight.
Yeah.
Before we go spend the money to record, and then we'll have our full 10-song album ready to be released. Hopefully sometime this fall we'll get that. We'll be able to release that.
That sounds cool. I gotta tell you, Empty Promises I jammed out to also, and I felt this kind of the same way, dude. Like, there's a lot of institutions, you know, faith-based government, you know, things that, you know, make you sound like, oh, this is the greatest thing. This is awesome. You got to try this. You got to do this. You got to be this person. And like you said, it's all bullshit. Like, it's not what, you know, it's not based in reality. It's based off of, you know, perception and pretentiousness and trying to look good instead of be good, right? That's kind of what I got out of it. So, like, it's cool to hear your explanation.
Oh yeah, that's like I said, we try to make things a little vague just so people can have their own kind of interpretation. I look at it the same way like System of a Down does. They're like, we're not going to tell you what it is. Whatever you want it to be, it's what it is.
That's cool.
We'll tell you kind of what it is, but we do want you to, we love hearing like what people think.
Yeah, dude. And I think that's a cool thing about, you know, the rock genre and specifically metal, because I think that's what happens a lot, right? Like, we create music, yeah, to say something and to make a, you know, to make a statement, but you're also leaving room for the fans to really put their own perspective. And I think that's what kind of helps us sort of bring understanding to a crazy ass world that doesn't make sense sometimes, you know?
Yeah, it's how I look at the metal scene, the metal community is, we a lot of us we find that song, that band that gets us through something really hard, um, and we just kind of stick there like that. Like I said, that's why I got Slayer tattooed on my arm. Like Slayer has helped me more than a handful of times. This band itself has helped me. I can't count how many times.
Yeah.
And it's a community that when you find your brothers and sisters in it, man, it's like nothing else. Like, and even this, like I've been in this for almost 7 years, and most of them don't even know how many times, like just them talking to me about, hey, there's this new band coming out, or new song coming out from this band. Hey, what are you doing? You want to go see a show? Like that saved me more than a handful of times. And I love being able to give back. If I can help one person with my music, I've done all right.
Oh yeah.
Like if I can help that one kid just get through something, that's temporary, well, I've done my job.
Same
Oh,
with
yeah.
us here.
Yeah. That goes right into our mosh pit mentality, man. Like, I mean, that's the number one rule in the mosh pit. Someone falls down, you pick them the fuck up. It doesn't matter who they are, what they look like, who they voted for. Like, none of that shit matters, you know? Pick them up, dust them off, you okay? And you guys keep raging. And that's something that we are trying to build here with RockMental, just getting society to catch up. Like, we need to be more like a mosh pit. Because life is loud, life is chaotic. It's like a big mosh pit. Everyone's running into each other. We need to show some love, just like we do in the mosh pit, right?
Oh, most definitely. Saw y'all do that. I think it was the first one like first live stream I saw of y'all, and I was like, I like that. That the whole mosh pit mentality is, it was, it resonated with me because nowadays, everyone's so divided with whatever it is, and I'm not a very confrontational person. Push comes to shove, I'll drop you, whatever. I don't care. But like, I'll try my best to be like, hey, stop. And I'm tired of getting on Facebook and being like, dude, why are we arguing about this or
Yeah.
arguing about that? Like,
I gotta ask you, man. There was one thing in that video that you shared with us that just fucking just got me, dude. And I'm hoping you can share with that, kind of like your perspective, um, being, in your job as a gravedigger, just kind of your perspective on life and what that does to you in terms of like seeing people go through, burying and saying goodbye to the what you said about that was just so fucking compelling, man. And I'm hoping you can share that with our viewers here.
so yeah, like I'm a grave digger. I actually came from an IT background, which is, I don't know, kind of weird. But this started out as a temporary job. I was in between jobs during COVID, and I just kind of fell in love with it. I mean, I'm outside all day. I get to help people, which is what I love doing. But I've also been able to see how fragile life actually is. I'm 34. Most people in their 20s, like, I'm invincible, until they have that one friend that they lose. I've experienced multiple friends who I've lost, and I hate it, but I've grown to understand how whenever someone decides that their time is done and they don't want to be here anymore, it's a finite solution to a temporary issue, and it never goes away. It just transfers from person to person.
Mm.
There's a few people there that come and visit quite often that I've been able to talk to, and it's like, this mother just buried their daughter or their son, and it's like, it never goes away. And when that mother passes, that'll just transfer to someone else.
Mm.
And it's I've seen it in my personal life. I've seen it in um, my work life. The It's weird to find beauty in death. I'll tell you that much. Because when you see people who you knew they were struggling beforehand, when they've come to services, you see them struggling. When I'll listen to at a service, I'll listen to what people will say, and a lot of times it's like, I didn't see signs. I didn't, I didn't reach out enough. And it's like, I've gone through my own issues. A lot of times you're not going to see those signs. They're not going to be as prominent as people think. And then, in hindsight's always 2020.
Yeah.
And the best thing I can say is let your loved ones, your friends know, like, if you ever need to talk, like,
Yeah.
no judgment. I would much rather be up till 6 a.m. talking and listen to you vent or cry or whatever than to carry you and lay you 6 foot deep.
Yeah.
I'd much rather that minor inconvenience of just being up all night and tired as shit the next day than have to go a lifetime without my buddy.
Yeah.
Hell yeah, man. Yeah,
That's powerful.
That's definitely powerful. And I think a lot of us have lost, friends, family members, loved ones, people who are important to us. That way, died by suicide, died by, just crazy things that happen. And like you said, that pain doesn't go away, it just transfers. Of course, the guilt comes in. Like you said, I didn't know, I didn't see the signs, I didn't, I could have done more, I could have said this. And, I think for us, it's important to keep that in mind, to like, that you don't have to wait, to, reach out to that buddy you haven't talked to in years and just say, hey man, how you been? Right. Or seeing someone you're struggling, is struggling, just asking, what's up? What do you need? What's going on? And so, yeah, when that's powerful, especially given your job, you see this every day. It just hits home, man. Like that's something awesome to share, and I appreciate you sharing that.
It's no problem, man. We actually in the Atlanta scene just lost 2 within the last like 3 weeks. One was a little more publicized through Facebook. I will not get into that, but the entire scene has taken a step back in the last week or so and been like, reach out to your buddies, talk to your homies. There's no shame anymore in being like, hey man, I'm struggling.
Yeah.
We're not in high school anymore. You don't have to be that tough, that hard ass every fucking day.
Yeah.
Like, I'll be the first person to tell you, if I need to, I will cry like a bitch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I will call there's been times I've called Jeremy and just fucking bawled and being like, dude, I don't know what's going on. This is what's going on in my head. And he's like, what else is going on? And we'll talk. And that's what I say. When you find someone who you're not blood related, but you guys are brothers or sisters, you make sure they're fine, make sure they're good, do what you can if they need help. Like I said, I'm a helper. I've always been. I love helping people. I find purpose in being able to do that.
Yeah.
And if I can do that with my music, man, even better.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, man. It's tough, and I think for a lot of us, especially those who have lost someone or even know someone who survived an attempt, there's a lot of conflicting emotions involved in that, right? And I mean, that's kind of what we're trying to build, this community, let people know, they're not alone. They're not alone in not just your own struggles, but seeing someone else's struggles. So, yeah, it's heavy, man. But we that's why we got to talk about it. That's why we got to talk about it. Is not talking about it has led to so much loss and so much grief that it's like you said, if we can help one person, then it's definitely worth the cause.
Yeah, I agree with that. Like, even if it was one for us, if it was one person outside of us that's listening to it and that comes to our shows and is there to support, like, and to me it's like, well, that person either they have some connection. It's not just the music. There's some connection that keeps them coming back for more. And it's one of those I can't be thankful enough. Like, another little side tangent, I've watched I keep tabs on all our analytics and metrics and shit for how our streams are doing and stuff. And to see our video for Scarlet Rot in 42 days be just shy of 20,000 views,
That's
just
amazing.
blows my fucking mind.
Yeah, dude.
It's noticing that we're something a little different, and seeing that reaction is like, I guess we're doing something right.
Mhm.
Now we got to capitalize it.
Hey, as long as someone connects with it, right? Like you said, it's that's what it's about.
Exactly.
That's cool. Hey, thanks again for that, and for everything you do and all the music that you're putting out, man. We're gonna be keeping up tabs. But I mean, you mentioned a little bit about you're gonna be recording some stuff soon. Like, what else is next for Embering Effigy?
Up next, we actually have a show this weekend at the Atlanta Utility Works. So anybody that's I don't know when this is going up, but it's a veterans benefit show.
Oh, nice.
We got a few more things. I think we got one more show for this month, and we have we're going to take June to write, record, and then at some point we're going to be trying to hit a small tour. 3-4 days. Quick run to wherever and back, just to try and build up. But we have the album that should be coming out sometime we're hoping October.
Nice.
It'll be, I think 10 songs is what we're shooting for, if not a little more if we get something else written beforehand. Right now it's hitting the grind, man. Just play shows that we can play smart shows.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I love playing those house shows, man, they're fun, but something that's going to get people to notice.
Cool. Hey, so kind of have like a 2-part question. Well, I'll just start with this one. If there's a new fan, someone who's never been to one of your shows, what can they expect?
Wow, that's something I haven't been asked. What they can expect is a type of music you've never heard. A mix match of 5 different metal genres that shouldn't go together, but somehow work fucking perfect. You will have the intensity of thrash. You'll have that slow groove of stoner doom. Shit, you'll have some black metal blast beats. If there's any kind of metal you like, you're gonna hear it.
Nice.
Absolutely. That's cool.
That was amazing.
Hey, so where can fans find you guys? Where can they go to find your music and to find your shows and learn more about you guys?
So we're on all streaming platforms. Just Embering Effigy. I think we have our stuff on every single streaming platform there is, from Spotify, YouTube for sure, Apple Music, Amazon.
Nice.
You can buy our music through Bandcamp. We have some of our merch on there. We just are in the process of getting some more stuff. But we try and record at least the vast majority of our shows. We can throw it up on our YouTube if you want to sit down and watch it. If not, that is where that's film for us to go back and critique what we did wrong.
Nice.
Oh, there you go. Man, hey, Bic Mac, I tell you, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks so much for what you're doing and creating your music and putting voice to power on some of these mental health issues, and keep doing what you're doing, man. We're gonna watch out for that new album. We'll give you guys a shout out, man. Hey, you got some supporters here at RockMental.
Hey, thank y'all very much for having me. And I love what y'all are doing, trying to push, mental health awareness through metal. I love it.
Now, we have links to Embering Effigy's music pages on rockmental.com. Please give them a follow, show up to their shows, do what you need to do, support these guys. They're awesome.
Like we mentioned before, you can find all this and all of our Beyond the Pit interviews on the official RockMental YouTube channel and on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon Music. Chaotic?
All right, thanks for joining us for Beyond the Pit. Join us next time as we talk to another awesome band. We'll give you the heads up on social media, but only if you follow us at RockMental Official on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok. All right, Chaotic out.